What if Tony Ferguson never tripped over that wire in 2018? Let me take you on a journey to an alternate reality where the greatest fight in lightweight history actually takes place. The date is April 1st, 2018. It's fight week for UFC 223. El Kukui is on a 12-fight win streak of absolute savagery, leaving every one of his opponents in a bloody mess of themselves. Khabib, 25-0, approaching boogeyman status of his own, whilst Conor McGregor sits atop the hill inactive. This fight, undoubtedly, would decide the true king of the lightweight division. But then, tragedy. Ferguson, during media week, trips over a cable, tearing his LCL, bringing an end to the fourth scheduled fight between them. Okay, now that history's been recounted, let's run it back. Tony stumbles, yes, but no freak injury this time. What changes? After a week of mind games, beratements from Tony Ferguson, Tiramisu Tuesdays, April 7th arrives. The air electric. As Khabib makes his way to the cage with his father in corner, he is calm, confident. He knows that it is his time. But that's when you hear it.
It's Tony time, bitches!
Ahead of his theme music, you see Tony Ferguson on the monitor, sunglasses on, smirking, dancing his way to the cage. He is home. As Bruce Buffer sets the stage,
and now it's time.
you can see the goosebumps on the bald heads of Rogan, Anik, and Cormier. For this is the moment that we all have been waiting for. Round 1. Very little feeling process is needed. Just a few jabs from Tony, feinting back and forth from Khabib, and then it happens. A calculated, precise shot from Khabib. However, instead of the resistance he's accustomed to, there is no sprawl, no wizard, no retreat to the cage. Tony accepts this position, throwing up offense before he's even landed on the ground. Trying to position his leg for a triangle to no success, Khabib establishes control. With 2-on-1s and eventually wrapping Tony's legs up with his own, he starts to land some of the most devastating ground and pound that you've ever seen in mixed martial arts. What seems to be as close to a fight-ending sequence as you could, Tony never stops defending himself. A cut opens up on Tony's right eye, and then you hear it. Clack, clack. Dan Miragliotta tapping Khabib to signify the end of the round. He has saved Tony Ferguson. There's no change in expression from Khabib as he stands up, walking back to the cage cold and callous like a Terminator. Whilst Tony stands up quick and elegantly with a big old smile on his face, blood trickling down his cheek. You hear from the commentary off the side with John Anik.
Hard to believe that's anything but a 10-8 round for Khabib Nurmagomedov.
And Cormier.
I've been in the gym with this guy, man. He's built different.
Round 2 opens up a bit different than round 1, with some lateral movement from Tony trying to pump out the jab, but Khabib has no problem following him around. Attempting to take the center of the octagon after a strong leg kick lands, Khabib reacts by shooting in on Tony's hips, driving him back to the cage in front of his father. Doing what he does best, securing the body lock and sweeping out the leg, this round is also looking to be a typical Khabib grappling clinic. Tony, however, begins to flow with him, sporadic rolling to try to stay ahead. To no avail. Landing some decent shots, Khabib begins to get cocky and speak to him. "You know I deserve this." Remnants of the Michael Johnson fight before. And then it happens. Whilst rearing up to land a pummeling strong blow, a precise elbow sneaks its way through. The eagle can bleed. Khabib putting his head down on Tony's chest to hide the cut. He rides out the remainder of this round. Still, an easy round for Khabib. With a strong poker face, Khabib returns to his corner. Tony standing up smirking, as if he knows something that nobody else does. Perhaps he's already won the mental war. As round 3 opens up, Khabib's aggression is ever present. A wounded but motivated Tony Ferguson rushes to meet him in the center, and for the first 2 minutes of this fight, it's all standing. Khabib feinting forwards and backwards, but not unwilling to engage with Tony Ferguson, showing him that he can stand with Tony if he really wanted to. Perhaps Khabib has something to prove. However, this gives Tony his first opportunity to enter the flow state, eating an overhand just to graze the chin of Khabib with a simple jab. And after the most frantic pace either man has ever set till now, Khabib's instincts kick in after Tony lands a strong body kick, grabbing at the leg, turning it into a single leg and driving Tony back this time. A scramble ensues, Tony grabbing a wizard, turning away to utilize Khabib's momentum. But of course Khabib is ready, seemingly always one step ahead. Tony hits the ground first with Khabib looking for the back. Letting go of the wizard, Tony attempts to Granby roll. He ends up near the cage with Khabib on his heels to regain control. Tony tries to intercept Khabib on his way back in with a knee up the middle. As it glances off the side of the eagle, he is captured in his talons once again. Pressed to the fence, lifted, and returned to the mat. As Khabib gets another few shots of ground and pound in, it is easy to determine he has secured another round. It is now 3-0. Tony returns to his corner. He does not take his seat. With a few cuts and blood trickling down his face, he's smiling. Khabib? Composed, unamused. Round 4. Meeting in the middle for their fourth clash of the night, Tony flicks out a jab at range, misses, but follows it up with a strong teep kick. Khabib eating it while stutter stepping forwards and backwards. But no matter the body language of the results from prior rounds, Tony keeps pressing forwards, glancing punches off Khabib's high and tight guard. Almost a minute into the round with no offense from Khabib, just sound defense, you hear from Daniel Cormier.
Perhaps Khabib is taking it easy this round to conserve his energy.
And then Joe Rogan.
Maybe. Or perhaps he realizes Tony can't be broken like some of his opponents before.
Another minute passes with Tony building a bit of momentum, loosening up with a spinning elbow after a stance switch, moving closer. Khabib narrowly avoiding, attempts to body lock, but not fully committing to it, gets shucked off for the first time. Feeling the shifting of the tides, Tony does what Tony does best, pushes the pace even higher. Bringing the fight to Khabib, avoiding every clinch, throwing more strikes to the body, and maintaining the center of the octagon with just under a minute left. Tony closes the gap, intent on landing a few inside elbows. Khabib meets him head on, eating one to lock up and reverse him into the cage, holding him there until the end of the round. Outlanded, out-hustled, Khabib loses his first round ever in mixed martial arts. The crowd is going bonkers. Both men make their way to their corners, but only one struggling to regain his breath. Perhaps the eagle is human after all. Antsy to get back to work, Tony shouts at Khabib from across the octagon. Unfazed, Khabib just takes his last swig of water before revealing the poker face he's had his entire career. Round 5 begins. Tony rushes to gain the center first, but Khabib makes it there just in time. No more feeling out from either side. Khabib lunges in with a lead hook with the intent to get close. Tony taking the outside angle, preparing to eat and roll with the punch to counter with an unorthodox uppercut. Both landing, but Khabib is unbalanced, covering up to regain his footing. Tony offers no opportunity, ripping at the body with a back right hook. Khabib's body language winces, but throwing a wild overhand right back at Tony's way. Tony ducking and exiting away, smelling blood in the octagon. He re-enters with a strong leg kick, going shin to shin. Only 45 seconds in and Khabib is looking as exhausted as at the end of the previous round. Tired but not broken, Khabib times Tony's 1-2 combo ducking to shoot in on Tony's hips, driving him back once again. Tony bouncing on one leg, wrapping his arms around Khabib's neck. Both men hit the fence. Khabib using the momentum to turn and secure the takedown. Tony lets go of the neck to scramble, only to end up back into the sprawling position. A 1-second pause is all that it takes for Tony to lock up his patented Darce choke. The crowd erupts, the commentators screaming,
Khabib's going into survival mode!
defending the choke, not letting Tony cinch up the leg. Warrior spirit or not, the brain needs oxygen, and there's none left in his body. After 2 minutes and 43 seconds of the 5th round, Khabib falls asleep. Dan pulls Tony off of him. The undisputed champion is crowned. Letting out a guttural scream, blood dripping from many cuts, Dana slaps the belt on Tony. It is in fact Tony's time, finally. After Tony Ferguson's arm is raised, both men pay respects to each other in the center of the octagon. As Joe Rogan makes his way inside, Eddie Bravo puts Tony's aviators right on Joe. He makes his way up to Tony and says to him,
That is one of the greatest performances I've ever been witness to inside the octagon. Tony, tell me what you want next.
Tony delivers his patented classic McNugget call-out, exciting the fans for the future personality clash of these press conferences. Also, no dolly truck incident. No post-fight brawl at UFC 229. Instead, Tony vs. Conor with a co-main event of Khabib vs. Dustin Poirier for the #1 contender. However, that is a story for another time. Thank you for staying to the end. Drop a fight or a missed fight you'd like to see in the comments, so we can rewrite history, or at least speculate on what if.